Hey folks, Mr. Anderson here, and today we're going to go ahead and talk about section 10.2.3 in our CPM Common Core Algebra book. And our focus today is going to be three distinct solving methods that you can look at, apply, and if you can be versatile with them, they can really enhance your problem solving ability. I've got some modified notes, and we're going to start by taking a peek at some things that we know, and then we'll tie them to things that we're learning, okay? Want to expand this inventory. How can we solve some problems? And eventually, we're going to get to the point where we can solve problems like this, right? This looks like a gross and complex equation, but eventually we're going to get there, and we're going to really focus on answering these two kinds of questions today, right? How do you see it? And then is there another way? And these are things that mathematicians, the tryhards, the sweaty tryhards in math, really try to focus on, because it's like this game of one-upsmanship where one mathematician always tries to one-up another one and do it differently or do it more easily. This happens in computer programming all the time. And really, if you can do well with this, apply it well, and explain it to someone else well, you are really going to be the best type of problem solver that you can be. We've got an equation here, and the equation isn't too bad, and this is problem 10-46, by the way. The equation isn't too bad. In fact, you're probably looking at it and you're going, yeah, I can do that, no problem. We're going to solve for x here, but we're going to do so in two distinct different ways. Now, I've got these set up. Okay, it does tell you to do this with your team, but we're just going to do it, you and me, together right now. I've got these set up, and we're going to talk about the differences as we're doing them, and we're going to analyze the differences after we're done. So I'm going to just write the equation over here: 4 times the quantity of x plus 3, and that's equal to 20. Okay, the first thing that I notice is maybe what most of you are noticing is that I've got a 4 on the outside of the parentheses. So I'm going to look inside the parentheses and say, okay, I've got x plus 3, and I can't add those things because they're not like terms. So the way we skirt the order of operations here is by distributing. So I'm going to start with the distributive property, and I'm going to do a rewrite. 4 times x is 4x, 4 times 3 is 12, and that's equal to 20. I'm going to do a rewrite, and after doing that rewrite, now I can take our normal problem-solving approach where we use inverse operations. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides. I get 4x then is equal to 20. 20 minus 12, which is 8, and then I divide both sides by 4 because I recognize that the 4 and the x are multiplied, and I get x is 2. Now, real fast, let's just check this. If I plug in 2 right here, what's 2 plus 3? That's 5. 4 times 5 is 20. That checks out. Okay, so we know we did that right. There's another method for this, and maybe this is what some of you are thinking. And if you're not thinking this, that's okay. But what I want you to do is just be versatile enough to consider this. Okay? Check this out. One more time, I look in. I'm like, hey, x and 3 can't be, added, so I could distribute. Otherwise, I recognize that the 4 is being multiplied by that entire quantity of x plus 3. So I can just cancel that multiplication right away. And this is something we've worked on in the prior 2 videos. If you haven't seen the videos for 10.2.1 and 10.2.2, make sure you go back and watch those items. Okay? And now watch what happens here. The 4's cancel. I've got x plus 3, and that's equal to 20 divided by 4, which is just 5. Okay, now the reality of this is there's nothing on the outside of the parentheses, so there's no reason for the parentheses anymore. I'm going to drop them. And now look at this equation. This is the type of equation that you inch into problem solving with when you're in 7th grade. We can just take a one-step approach here, subtract 3 from both sides, and we get x is 2. Now we know that to be our solution because look at that, folks. We've got a solution that matches right there. 2 different ways to do the exact same problem. Again, how did you see it? And we considered, could it be done differently? In CPM, they really throw three methods at you. They call it the rewrite method, the look inside method, and the undoing method. Now, this is problem 1050 from our book, and they ask you to do some matching. And the matching really is, it's not bad. It's maybe pretty obvious for you. The rewriting approach is the like the distribution property that we just worked with, right? The problem might be easier if I turned 4 times 2x minus 3 into 8x minus 12, right? Using a distributive, right? Doing a rewrite. So that's the rewrite method. That's one of our options. The second option that they give us there is the look inside, right? And you saw me do that, right? The look inside method is letter I over here. If 3 plus the quantity 4n minus 4 equals 12, then 4n minus 4 must equal 9. So getting rid of that, right? That operation on the outside of those parentheses. And then finally, the undoing. This is the thing that we've probably been doing the longest, right? Number 3, this is the subtracting is the opposite of adding, or that inverse operation. So you start by subtracting 4 from both sides of this equation right here. And you're going to see us practice some of those things as we move forward in our notes today. There is a plethora of problems here in problem 10-51. There's 6 of these things. And it says for each equation below, decide whether it would be best to rewrite, look inside, or undo. Then solve the equation, showing your work, and writing down this name of the approach you use. Check the solutions if possible. Well, ladies and gents, one of the things I'm going to mention to you is that as somebody who's been doing math for probably longer than anyone who's watching this video, I've been doing math for decades. Okay, I've been doing math like this for decades. Okay, we fall into a role of comfort when it comes to solving equations. So I'd ask you to be brave, be ready to get maybe a little bit uncomfortable, and be ready to try some new things. Because again, the goal, the reason we're doing some things like this is to enhance our problem solving skills. And we're going to start with letter A. And just because I would do this one way does not mean it's the way that you would necessarily have to do this. Okay? So in letter A, we've got 2x minus 8 up top. We've got 10 on the bottom of that left-hand side, and that's equal to 6. Remember, even though we don't see this here, this is effectively grouped, all right, in this Venn column here, right? We've got 2x minus 8 divided by 10. So let's get rid of that 10. I'm going to make an effort here to rewrite this or undo it, okay, depending on your perspective here. And my thought is I want to multiply this by 10, and of course I do it to both sides. And now doing so makes these 10s cancel, and I've got 2x minus 8, and that's equal to 6 times 10, which is 60. Now look at how much easier that just became. And now we're into the undoing step, right? We're going to add 8 to both sides, so I've got 2x equals 68. And now I divide both sides by 2. And unfortunately, I'm not showing work because I want to talk about quite a few of these problems. So in order to save time, right, I'm going ahead and I'm just, kind of glossing over that work. We've been doing some of these things for so long that I feel it's probably okay to do that. But if you're running into questions here about why I'm doing some of these things, remember, it's your responsibility to ask, okay? If you're unclear. Okay, let's check out letter B. B is 4 plus x divided by 3, and that's equal to 9. Now, depending on your perspective and experience, this might have a different start for all of us, right? Look at the way we even wrote that division, right? That's maybe a little weird for you, but I would go ahead and I would look inside here. All right, and again, just because I'm going to do this one this way doesn't mean this is the way that you would start. This is 4 plus. We don't distribute an addition. We distribute it as multiplication. So I look inside, I say, I don't know what x divided by 3 is, but I do know that if 4 plus the quantity of x divided by 3 equals 9, then it must be true that x divided by 3 equals 5. Now, how in the heck did I get that? I will show this, actually. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. So there's a little bit of undoing, a little bit of looking inside there. And now it's effectively recognizing, how do I undo that division by 3? That's the same thing as saying, well, I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of that and isolate that x. Now this and this cancel. That's what I want. Multiplication cancels division, and I get x equals 15. All right? Now, it's entirely possible that when you looked at this, maybe you paused the video and maybe you tried this, you could have gotten 15, but maybe you got there differently. And if you did, I encourage you, maybe come to me and say, hey, this is how I did that one. Allow me to look at it differently. All right? But I'd also ask you to reflect on how I did it differently and maybe consider why I did that. All right? Let's go ahead and tackle C. C says the square root of 3x plus 3 equals 6. Now, something I'm going to talk about with this square root here is that if you have the square root extending over that entire binomial, 3x plus 3, that's like saying this whole thing is in parentheses under the radical. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that we've got to look inside here. I can't just subtract 3 without addressing that radical first. I got to recognize that the square root can be canceled by squaring both sides, or the inverse operation of a square root is a square. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this whole side and I'm going to square it. And if I do it to that side, I've got to do it to this side. And the square and the square root cancel. Most kids get hung up on that fact. They say, oh man, look at what a mess I just made out of that left-hand side. Actually, you didn't. You just gave yourself the opportunity to cancel that out. And I've got 3x plus 3, and over here I've got 6 squared, which is 36. Now you can speed through the last 2 steps. This is just a 2-step equation. Subtract 3 from both sides, and you get 3x equals 33, and you get x equals, when you divide by 3, x equals 11. Okay? So recognizing that first step is a good thing to do here. We're going to move on to D. I'm just going to keep going. Just try to give you guys experience. We saw a problem like letter D in a prior video where we've got the same base for each exponent, right? Because my variable is in the exponent here. So what can I do? I can go ahead and I can cancel those bases. And the reason we can do that is because of this idea that's coming in a future course called a logarithm. All right? And by doing so, I can then say, okay, x plus 3 equals 3x, and now I can just subtract x from both sides. And over here on the left, I have 3. Over here on the right, I have 2x, right? Because 3x minus x, or 1x, is 2x. And now I'll just divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 1.5. It is okay, of course, to have a decimal, right? Don't let that wreck your day, right? We do often run into decimal answers. Letter E is a good one to see because the square root does not extend over the whole binomial. Okay, so check out letter E. In letter E, I recognize that I should maybe consider getting rid of that 4. I should maybe consider undoing that 4, or I consider maybe rewriting this and saying if the square root of x plus 4 is 9, then the square root of x has to be equal to 5. Now, how in the heck did I get that? You heard me. I said I'm going to get rid of that 4. Okay, and I can do so because the 4 is not under the radical. Now I'll get rid of that square root by squaring both sides, and when I do that, I get x equals 25, right? One last problem we're going to look at here, and it is going to be letter F, and I'm going to strategize here with you, but first I've got to write this problem down. F is x divided by 3 minus x divided by 9, and that's equal to 6, okay? Again, we're looking at a problem where we have some denominators, and the denominators are not equal, okay? But I recognize that 3 and 9 do have a common multiple. And some people are like, oh, I understand it's 27 because 3 times 9 is 27. Actually, it's smaller than that because 3 goes into 9. 3 goes into 9 evenly. 3 times 3 is 9. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply both of these to get rid of those denominators. Now, what should I multiply them by? I'm going to multiply them by 9, right? I'm going to multiply this by 9. I'm going to multiply this by 9. And then, of course, I'm going to multiply this by 9. Now, I got to go fast. I'm running out of time here. This is 9x over 3 minus 9x over 9 equals 54. This cancels with this, and I'm left with 3x. This cancels with that, minus x equals 54. I subtract 3x minus x is 2x, and that's equal to 54. and then I divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 27. Ladies and gentlemen, just a tiny bit of review preview here for you to try. Would you please give these things a shot and ask the questions that come up? Thanks for watching. Have a great day.